I, male 29, took the V card of a terminally ill 41-year-old woman, and I can't stop thinking about her.
What?
Yeah.
How did this even come to fruition?
I know. And I like when you hear it, it's like, well, it kind of is a good deed, but like, I don't know. I'm so conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am a bisexual male escort. By the way, my job is legal in my country.
Mm-hmm.
My customers are mostly gay men and middle-aged women, so she was in no way a surprise for me. So this woman wanted me to meet her at a hotel room. She specifically booked for us. I already knew a few things about her because of the messages she sent me, like her name, her age, and that she had never had a relationship, let alone that she had sex with anyone. When we met, we greeted each other, and she had a huge smile on her face. The first rule with my customers is that we get to know each other before we do what we do. We talked for about half an hour, and I found out that she had leukemia and was about to die. She also told me that she has never found a boyfriend because of her looks. She was constantly called ugly and disgusting, and no boy wanted to be near her. And this bullying continued during her adulthood. She always was treated like some kind of weirdo. She just thought that she had to wait for the right one, but after so many years, she lost hope and accepted that she is supposed to be lonely. And now that she's 41 and never had sex, she felt like she missed on the most beautiful things in life.
Overrated.
Her parents died many years ago, and she had no one. She was all by herself. The money she wanted to pay me was the money she was about to use for her treatment, but she told me that the doctor said that the treatment would only give her a little bit more time, but not save her life. So she figured she could use it to finally find out what it's like to have sex. Am I the asshole for being confused that my boyfriend won't be intimate with me when I'm pregnant with his child? I was going to post this on Am I the Asshole subreddit, but it involved this topic. My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male, and I were having a date, and the topic of children arose. He said he wouldn't feel comfortable having sex with a woman who was pregnant. I obviously got confused because hopefully we'll have children in the future together. So I asked if he would have sex with me if I was pregnant with his child. He said no, that he would stop after I became visibly pregnant, referring to my belly. I then said that was not fair because we would go a very long time not being intimate with each other, and that's not the norm for us. He then said that he would be willing to have sex with me to naturally induce labor if it ever came to that, but other than that, no. When I asked why, he stated that he would feel just uncomfortable doing so. We then talked about it a bit more, but he stood firm on this. It was indeed a very weird conversation, but now I feel like I'll be left in the lurch when I do have a baby with him. We did laugh about it afterwards, but I want to know if my feelings are valid in this situation. Am I the asshole for not shaving my pregnant wife and not giving her a spa day?
So now they're married.
They pulled the trigger. Unfortunately. I wish she would have ran.
Also, continue.
Hello, all. A couple of years back, I was seeking insight about my then girlfriend's mismatched socks. Comments were vicious but useful.
Vicious but useful.
She did not leave me as some hoped, and we are married. The situation today. My wife, Gia, is heavily pregnant with our first. It's been tough on her, and I've tried to be as accommodating as possible until I can take leave and help her out full-time until the baby is here. Gia has not been able to shave her intimate areas recently. As such, she asked me to do it for her. I told her no, and it escalated into a massive fight. It just grosses me out. I go down on her and everything. That's not what grosses me out. The idea of having to shave long pubic hairs simply puts me off. I know she feels...
This fucking guy, I swear to God.
I know she feels better about herself when she shaves, and I know she's going through something I'll never understand, but it's not an absolute necessity to be shaved. I just don't want to, and I wouldn't expect or want her to do it for me either. When she finally relented and started being less emotional, she floated the idea of me paying for a spa day and she could get waxed. Again, I told her no, and we had another fight. 23 female boyfriends, 26 male friends pretended to kidnap me for a proposal.
They kidnapped her. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, continue.
I am trembling and just created this alt account because my main has a lot of details about me that would make it easy to trace back. A week ago, my boyfriend told me he had a camping trip planned with his friends on Friday, today. He said he would have no service and he'll see me on Sunday. He messaged me at 5 a.m. this morning and told me they're hitting the road. Around 8, I went for a run like I usually do on Fridays. I have one headphone in while I do because I was on a work call. While I was running, I noticed an SUV that kept popping up. In hindsight, it looked just like my boyfriend's childhood friend's car. I sent a message to my sister saying to stand by and shared my location.
It's so funny how girls have such good intuition. She's like, I'm going to die today.
Oh,
Because that car is a little too close.
trust your gut, girlies. Right after sending the message, I looked up and the SUV was right beside me and someone jumped out and grabbed me. It happened so fast, I even dropped my phone on the pavement. I was pulled into this car and I could tell there was at least 2 masked guys in the back before they covered my eyes. In hindsight, they had cartoonish ski masks and black gloves on. I freaked out and resisted like crazy, screaming and kicking. All I could hear was these guys laughing, and I could feel one of them holding me down by my arms behind me, and the other was holding my legs down at the knees. This is so fucking traumatic.
Immediate trauma, immediate therapy for 30 years.
I don't know how long I was in there, but I kept begging them to let me go and crying. I even admit I peed on myself, but I don't think they noticed until we arrived at the house. They pulled me out of the car and I was screaming for help until I was pulled into the house. When the mask on my head was removed, I was on my knees in front of my boyfriend of 2 years. He was staring at me with a confused look before he started to angrily ask his friends what was going on. As I started to adjust to what was going on, I realized he was dressed nice and there was romantic decorations around the entryway to his house. I realized who he was and what was going on and collapsed into sobs. I probably had a 5-minute panic attack in that car on my way there and another one sitting in the entryway to his house. I was sweaty, wearing soiled yoga pants, flushed with fear, scared for my life. That was all about an hour or 2 ago. My boyfriend took me upstairs and was going to help me get showered and changed, but I wanted to do that alone. I heard yelling and commotion downstairs while I showered, but I don't know what is going on. I'm sitting in his room now holding my shattered phone after crying to my sister about what happened. She lives 1.5 hours away, but is speeding over to get me now. I can't stop thinking about what happened, and even though I now know I was never in any danger, I don't think my brain can comprehend it. They were snickering and teasing me in deepened voices about what they were going to do to me. The one that was holding my legs down kept caressing my thighs up and down into the inner area.
Oh, hell no!
When the car would brake, his face kept falling into my chest. I don't even know who that was. I just know one of them sounded unsure and kept trying to defuse the situation, but I think it was the driver.
Am I in the wrong for canceling a vacation because my wife can't pay her share after helping her adult son and ex-husband? My wife, 44, makes quite a bit less than me, 45 male, so our joint expenses are split 70-30. To clarify, she contributes 30% of her pay to our joint expenses, bills, utilities, emergency funds, retirement. 70% of her pay she keeps for personal expenses to spend or save how she wishes. Dates, vacations, and fun things we choose to do together are budgeted and planned based on what we can afford from our personal funds. Pool that money together, then pay together. For the most part, things like vacations and where we bought a house are decided based on what she can afford. But there have been several times I've paid in full for vacations to places I really enjoy and want to share the experience with her. She has a 23-year-old son from her previous marriage. When she and I got together, I told her that I wouldn't mind paying for extra things here and there until her son was 18 and working or in school so she could take care of him. For the majority of our relationship, he's lived with his father. He decided against college or trade school and hasn't expressed any interest in starting to figure out a plan for the immediate future, let alone his life. He floats from job to job and his father is pretty much the same since the kid graduated. Therein lies the problem. Every few months, they'll call her for a few $100s here and there. Sometimes it's her son calling for help, sometimes it's her ex-husband. This has caused her to be short on funds for our plans, or things she volunteered to cover on more than one occasion. Her reasoning when her ex is asking is that since her son still lives with him, she has to help him. I get that to a point. We were supposed to go on a vacation later this month. Nothing major or fancy, just some time away. We had agreed to split the costs, and all that was left to pay were the hotels, rental car, and some reservations. Her ex-husband called needing help getting his car out of impound and getting caught up on rent. Their son hasn't been able to get to work without the car because he doesn't want to ride a bike or take a bus. us. Almost $5,000 later, they're set up, but my wife told me that she can't pay for her portion of our vacation. So I told her that I was canceling it. She called me a heartless ass, that she's just taking care of her son and we've been arguing over it. But my stance is this: they're both able-bodied adults that keep making a series of life decisions that keep them at a standstill, like quitting jobs over little things, smoking, going out, and her always digging them out of their hole is starting to impact our lives more and more. And I didn't sign up for that. Am I in the wrong for canceling our vacation instead of just footing the entire cost myself?